The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. That is for Emily heading to her first chemotherapy today. Good luck. It's a journey. It's a long one. And you got this.
Absolutely.
You
and
got it.
How blessed are we? For her to message in, one, what a great person. She sends a compliment our way. You guys are putting a smile on my face. You're so kind. And then we got chosen to, kind of, well, no pun intended, like be the bright side of her morning on that journey. God, we're lucky to have somebody like that who listens.
It's not lost on us that you have a lot of choices, and you're here with us with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And this is one way we reward you. This guy is one of my all-time faves, top 5 comedian, one of the funniest guys. You may not even like comedians, and it doesn't matter. You go see Bert Kreischer, and you're going to laugh so hard, your stomach's going to hurt. He's at the Tops of the World Tour coming to the United Center Thursday, April 4th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. It will sell out. I want it to sell out. We'll get Bert in here when he comes to town.
We will.
Oh, he is Kenzie. Kenzie, you're not so familiar, and he is so ridiculous.
I love comedians. I don't think I know him very well. You're bringing him up. But the best is the way Brian describes things isn't always stellar. And he goes, he's so wild. He takes his shirt off. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Does he just say funny things, or is that it?
Yeah, no. I tried to do that because he is absolutely just known as the guy that takes his shirt off. I thought that might ring a bell. And listen, going to this show, again, you don't even have to like comedians. It's weird calling him a comedian. I don't know what he is. He is a monster. Bert Kreischer, 312-591-8300. Caller 10 will be at the show, the first person in, as the tickets don't go on sale until Friday at 10 a.m., and we'll all be there.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Here's the Veil, Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and it's time for Chicago WTF News. A couple really weird things happened yesterday in Chicagoland, and maybe they both have come across your timeline, or maybe you were around it like I was, one of the events. The first one is this. A man climbed the Accenture Tower in the West Loop and was then later arrested. So this is a guy that started climbing the building without a harness.
Oh my gosh, like Spider-Man style?
Yeah, it was insane. And everybody started looking up, and the fire truck showed up. Chicago, fire got down there. People have posted a lot of pictures from their office of him climbing up the building.
Oh my God.
And this is a massive, high rise. It's 500 West Madison in the West Loop, right near the Ogilvy Transportation Center, where they actually arrested him when he came down. They couldn't get to him on the building.
What? Why?
Because they're not going to climb up there and get him. If he wants
why did he do it?
Oh, why did he do it? He is called the pro-life Spider-Man. So this guy's done it. So he's done it. He's doing it for a cause. But I've always found it weird when people do this, or protest or activists, whatever you want to call it. How is that going to convince me to your side? And I you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to, I don't think because you climbed a building, all of a sudden, hey.
No matter what the belief is, you're like, I don't see it.
No,
they didn't sway me.
Yeah, I see your point now. I don't get it. I think it's like, I hate to say this.
Like the weird, kind of one-off, I'm going to do something crazy to prove a point. It's like, well, I don't.
It's self-serving, I think, for him. It's not self-serving for the cause, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe you guys think differently. But he went up. It's a 600-foot tall building without the rope. That's the more impressive thing, I guess. He's done this before, and they did call it a publicity stunt. They blocked off all the streets in the area. Think about all the people going to work in that area, or going to lunch, or just trying to, the work trucks.
That's the thing is, if you piss enough people, I've always thought that. Like the one person who lays in the street, and then no one can get to work on time. I go, they're going to vote against your cause just because they're pissed.
On principle. Yeah.
They're going to be like, I won't support anything you do.
Yeah, you ruined my day. So it is wild, though, to watch the video of him going up like that. And, I thought he was going to fall easily. It's weird. The building has kind of like a ladder scaffolding already on it. So maybe he chose that building because it was easy.
Built to climb, baby.
Yeah, built to have a publicity stunt on it. But they arrested him, and that's how that went. Maybe you saw
the rest of the skyscraper is going to be so slippery from here on out.
Grease them up
for safety purposes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. No one could climb this building, the NBC Tower. How could you climb this?
I don't know. You have a lot of ridges.
Yeah, what a job too, by the way. Like the window washers.
Sheraton looks easy to climb from here, doesn't it?
Sheraton
got a big old ledge.
How far do you think you could get farther than me? I know you're pregnant right now, but you think you could get farther than me if you tried to climb the building?
I think physically technically I could climb longer than you, but I couldn't reach the amount of things you could reach.
Because I'm 6'4"
like
and a quarter.
you could grab the ledge way before I could grab the ledge.
I think you might be stronger than me, though.
Well, that's for sure.
I don't know. I do a few push-ups. I can climb the Sheraton, maybe. Case, who do you think could get higher? Me, you, or Kenzie on the hotel across the street?
If we were climbing it.
Well, the problem is I have a medical condition known as little bitch arms, so I certainly can't climb anything.
Case looks like a T-Rex.
And Brian, I gotta be honest, you know I love you. I am giving this competition to Kenzie all day, every day.
Even pregnant Kenzie?
Oh, pregnant Kenzie's a different animal. She's like a wild beast.
I don't know if I like that. That didn't make me feel good.
Extra hormones?
You called me R2D2, and now I'm a wild beast.
Kenzie, you're like a wild droid. What can I say?
Oh my God, you look like a whore. It's like, why are you saying stuff about me?
You're a robot whore.
I'm a nice lady.
Oh, God.
What'd I do?
Well, I'm glad he got his message across. It seemed really effective.
Yeah, worked out
I had a
nicely.
well-balanced breakfast today. I don't feel like I'm very beastly. Wild.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
So it has been determined if Brian, Kenzie, or Case, the producer, tried to climb a building today, that Kenzie would get much higher because, to quote Case, you're a beast, you're a monster.
I'm a wild beast. And he goes, what? I opened the door and I go, just so you know, you're absolutely on probation because you called me R2D2 and now you've called me a wild beast. And
Yeah.
I've kind of had enough of the crap.
He's called you R2D2 and a beast.
Yeah, and not attractive things, okay?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I just mean like you go get stuff. And I go, you could have called me a go-getter.
Right.
That would have been a nicer adjective.
Athletic would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good thing you dropped your new joint this morning about getting higher.
Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see? It's harassment. Can you take me higher to a place with golden streets?
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and I guess it's kind of breaking news, right? This is kind of breaking news.
I would say so. I just saw it on my timeline.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a breaking news.
That's it?
That's all I got.
The same one you use every day?
I know.
For everything? All right.
So
I
this
thought
is-
you had like a sounder for breaking news.
Let me work
Like,
on that.
you know, when someone's checking, breaking news now.
Like the TMZ type, like
From the
vroom,
Capitol.
vroom.
I wonder if we could get that from like Hunger Games, like breaking news from the Capitol. Like a little more serious.
All right, we'll work on it next time it's
Okay.
breaking news. We got to do this one now because it's breaking news involving something we talked about so much. I guess it wasn't 2 years ago, was it? Was it a year ago, half ago? The Oscars were Chris Rock slapped, or Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
You okay?
I got it now.
All right.
I got it. Was that like 2 years ago? I don't know. My
Year and a
timeline.
halfy?
It's all messed up. My timeline. What do you think, Case?
Well, I don't think anything. I know it was early 2022, so a year and a half ago.
Okay, I was right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't
Or
know
you
this breaking
threw out
news.
3 guesses. Was that why?
1842. Okay, go ahead. So this is breaking news.
Okay, so I'm on my my Instagram,
Yeah.
where Case makes fun of me because that's where most of my show prep comes from, but it's valid.
Yeah.
Anywho.
It's all been
I started
vetted.
to, get out a newspaper that I paid $0.25 for. That's how Case wants me to show prep. Anyways, so I'm scrolling, and Jada has done this exclusive interview.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yes, with, I say her name wrong. Huda?
It's Hoda.
Hoda. Sometimes I call her Huda. I forget. Okay.
It's after after Good Morning America. Then they do
Yes,
that show
yes.
with Jenna Bush.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she had an exclusive interview with her. It's also like a People magazine, like it's a little collabby, if you will. Okay. She has come out and said her and Will Smith have actually been separated, living in separate homes and completely separate lives since 2016. And that publicly they didn't know how to address this. So they still do stuff publicly. Obviously, they're also like a blended family, so they're still around each other because of the kids and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
you see them at their kids' birthday parties or album release party or whatever's going on. It's because they're all together as a family.
Right.
Not because they're together. So they've been living in separate households, living separate lives. And Jada claimed that they've never gotten a legal divorce because when she got married, they promised each other they would never get a divorce. They would find a way to work it out. And she just has not mentally been able to break that promise yet, even though they've been living completely separate lives. She claims since 2016.
See, why are they making it so complicated? I get it, because you said they promised they would never get divorced, but they are really divorced without being legally
They're
divorced.
divorced without the legal paperwork, and she even said that.
So you're kind of lying already. You're divorced.
It's not that. If you're having a hard time with the legal paperwork or that aspect, do that when you're ready. But what confuses me is there's been a lot of things since 2016 that have happened, like her entanglement, and they came out and addressed that as a couple. Why not be like, hey, actually nobody was doing anything inappropriate because we're separated, right?
Correct.
Or
Just in case someone doesn't know what that was, basically she was talking about being in an open relationship with Will Smith in a weird interview where then she called it an entanglement, sleeping with somebody else. Yeah. And Will Smith's like, oh, an entanglement. That's what it is?
Yes.
And it was just basically saying we sleep with other people, but yet that's an open relationship. We talked about poly relationships, the other day, a couple days about that. So I guess it wasn't necessarily that because they weren't in specific relationships, they're just kind of sleeping with other people.
Well, they have said before that they actually have gotten their relationship to a breaking point. They've admitted that. And then they said that they fixed it. They got back to there. They said that there was a point in their relationship.
Yeah.
And she claimed that is when she was with that other man. They were truly not together, but then they worked it out, and they were so surprised that they were in this new space. So what's confusing to me is if you didn't want to be together and you were living a separate life, unless I have my years wrong, maybe that was 2015 and they separated right after that, I suppose, but I don't believe so. So I think entanglement was more recent than that. But it is very confusing to me why you didn't use that time frame to then say, hey, no one's cheating on each other. We've actually been separated. I'm seeing someone, she's seeing someone. If you didn't know how to bring it up, that would have been a good time instead of the entire world thinking that you guys cheated on each other.
Right. And
so
then
that part's the odd part to me.
And then the real odd part is the slap heard around the world, defending his wife, who they really are not married anymore. They're legally married, but they're separated completely during the time of this incredible, wild thing that happened on TV.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here.
Now Will Smith gets up, goes toward Chris Rock.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Me and Case laughed forever about that when he goes, I'm going to. I just got smacked in the face. I'm going to leave your name out my mouth. So he did all that at a point where, I thought, wow, I thought he was being an a-hole and should have been arrested for what he did right there on stage to Chris Rock. But also, he was defending his wife what point were they trying to get back together again at that point? Like a year and a half ago?
Well, that's where I wonder. Jada confuses me. It's not that I'm not a Jada fan. I don't think she's always been wildly respectful to her husband. Now, maybe he's just more respectful publicly and is it behind closed doors. I don't like to be judgmental in that situation, but something's off and the math ain't mathin'. It's not adding up.
It's not good math.
I don't know why he always posts stuff about her. She doesn't post about him. I always felt like she was colder to him than he was to her.
Oh, yeah, you always felt bad. You felt bad for Will, right?
I always felt that way. Now, you never know what makes a woman feel cold. He could have done something behind closed doors that made her colder. So I didn't like to be judgmental on that aspect. But it doesn't add up. She has this Red Table Talk show, which I've watched a million clips of, not necessarily full episodes, but these clips go viral.
Yeah.
And she talks about her marriage. And in depth of what brought them together, what they had to agree on, and what... So you've been lying almost the entire time the show's been on, which, okay, you're having a hard time coming to grips with that reality. Maybe you always thought you would get back together. So you're not explaining this well. Were you like, you know what? I was in denial. I really thought a relationship would work out. Where's that detail? You're not saying that, and it's very odd.
It doesn't add up, any of it,
also,
including the
his
slap.
book. Did you read his book?
I did not read his book.
His book happened right before the slap, which was very unfortunate because the whole book is kind of about
Not slapping people.
Well, yeah. But it really is about, it was a very motivational book and everything he did, everything he worked through in his life lessons. And then he has this outburst that he doesn't handle well. So I don't think it was like a good,
An entanglement.
Yes. So that book was just 2-3 years ago. And I remember reading it not that long ago. And they addressed their marriage and the things they had to work through in their marriage in that book.
Right.
So you publish a book. You've been separated.
They're lying.
Since 2016.
Weird.
And you have tips on how to make your marriage work, but you're not in it. It's very, very confusing. Like, someone's not telling the truth. I'm very interested if Will comes out. Like, unless they just went through a million peaks and valleys since 2016 where they were together for another 6 months and then maybe it went up and down a lot. I don't know. But what in the world is going on?
So, Jada Pinkett Smith says they haven't been together since 2016, except for legally. Really, they're separated.
I think it is very interesting, though, because a lot of people are against her on socials because she is always posting about Tupac. And everyone's like, you're never posting about your husband, and you're always posting about Tupac. It rubs people the wrong way. She puts out a lot of personal business about him and even his schmexuals in their bedroom.
Schmexuals?
You know what I'm saying? The goodies in the bedroom. And people have thought that she's really demasculated him many times.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting that all of a sudden she's putting out this claim because I wonder if it's more damage control. Like, wait, I'm not a bad person. We haven't been together.
We're not together.
Time.
Yeah, it's very, very relatable to a personal relationship you have when somebody goes that direction. No, we weren't really together that much. But anyway, that's the breaking news today. There it is. Get a better sound effect later on. We have more breaking news.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, a show coming back that had a bad ending. Didn't like the way it ended. Well, this was dropped in the last 24 hours as comedian Jerry Seinfeld was on stage in Boston. At the end of the show, end of the stand-up gig, someone yelled out if he was happy with the way the show ended. And then he dropped a bombshell saying, I have a little secret for you about the ending. Something's going to happen that has to do with the ending. It hasn't happened yet. And just what are you thinking about, Larry David? And I have also been thinking about, so you'll see, we'll see. Now, Larry David obviously made Seinfeld with Jerry Seinfeld.
Can I say something without upsetting you?
With me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
That was a very confusing way to read all that. So, I don't understand.
Can you read it again?
How did you not understand it?
Is he going to do it Larry David and something hasn't happened yet? What the hell are you talking about?
So him and Larry David created Seinfeld and something that hasn't happened yet, which is most likely a reboot of Seinfeld.
So something's going to happen with Seinfeld that hasn't happened yet is what that quote was supposed to mean.
Well, I read it verbatim.
Can I try to explain it?
I read it verbatim of how he said it. That's how he said it on stage. So he's being
a little too.
He's being a little vague
Did he stutter
as well.
in the live version? Was it a direct quote? Is that what you were doing?
He's been a known stutterer. I did it word for word, verbatim.
So, Kenzie, somebody asked Jerry Seinfeld, they said, are you happy with the Seinfeld ending? Is there any chance for a reunion? And Seinfeld said, well, something is going to happen with the ending with Larry David. I just can't tell you about it yet. That's essentially what happened.
Wow.
That's what I said.
No, it's not.
Exactly what I said.
My God.
Good
It's
Lord.
like you were trying to read Braille. Like, have you ever read off a piece of paper before?
I'll go back and listen to it. I don't think it was that confusing. I think everybody got it. I think I think it's fine.
So what show's coming back?
It's The Sopranos.
Oh, is it Benson? I know Seinfeld was in Benson.
Benson. It's not that. It's allegedly, obviously, Seinfeld.
Would it be the full cast, do you think?
Well, he said nothing more than that.
Still alive.
Everybody's alive.
Other than George Costanza's dad, Jerry Stiller.
Yes.
And his mom.
Yes, that's right. Estelle Harris.
And Jerry's. If we're going to go all the way, there's a lot of people that have died. There's a lot of ancillary characters that have died.
You would have all that information.
Yeah. But the four main ones will be there. I guess will be there. I mean, again, we don't know what it is right now. He's just saying this, working on it. They did it once on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It was great.
Yeah.
What'd they do?
They did a Seinfeld reunion within the confines of Curb Your Enthusiasm, because in Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David is still Larry David. He's
Brian,
still
you're like a book, and then Case is like the Cliff Notes version of the book.
Okay, whatever gets you through.
Thank you for bringing your interpreter to work today.
Whatever gets you through.
What are you talking about?
I don't think anybody else is confused.
They did this once on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm like, brought this show back? What are you talking about?
I don't think anybody else is confused on this one.
Kevin just said, Brian, I could not understand what the hell you were talking about. So I got news for you. I'm glad I'm in the room for
Okay,
this
but Glenn
one.
just said I understood what you meant, Brian.
Well,
so
Kevin doesn't know what he's talking
I was
about.
confused as hell. Was more than one text.
Okay. More people are saying they understood, I think. I'm not sure
only
100%. Whatever. We're here now.
So Seinfeld's coming back. You love the show. I love the show. Kinsey, are you a Seinfeld person?
I enjoy it.
Okay.
I am. I love a little Lainey Lane. I think she's fun.
Yeah.
But you also, did you like the ending?
No, the ending was the worst.
I didn't like it either. Did you
I
guys
didn't
like
get
it?
it. I don't think I even realized necessarily that was the ending because obviously I didn't watch the show like week to week. I'm 28, right? So you know how like they're constantly playing on TV still.
TBS
so
every night.
I've seen that episode, and I don't even think I realized that was the final episode until someone's like, "No, that jail one." I'm like, "Wow." I was just like a one-off.
I was hoping this was like a bad episode in the middle of the season, not
like,
the
who
most
cares?
watched television finale of the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, they did a great job of bringing back like every character in those that double episode there.
I understood what they were going for, but they did not land the plane.
No, they didn't. And it just, I guess the ending was supposed to say that they're just miserable people and they're going to end up together for the rest of their life, and that's how they're locked together. But
Was it Brian and Kinsey on Q101?
pretty much. Yeah.
Is Brian speaking Lebanese? Somebody just texted that in.
Was that really that confusing what I did?
I honestly, we slightly talked about what this was about before we went on air, and I didn't know what you were talking about.
God. All right. Well,
I brought this story to the
I
table.
gotta be
I didn't know
honest
what you were
with
saying.
I didn't know.
I read the quote exactly like he said it.
Maybe a little context would be good. You just pull quotes
All right.
out of nowhere.
I'll
What are
do
you, a
hey,
magician?
You know what? I'll do
You pull
better.
things out of your hat.
I'll do better. We'll do Dr. Seuss tomorrow. I'll be very clear. It'll be very easy.
I didn't know. I didn't realize Larry David was part of Seinfeld. Honestly.
Oh, really?
He was a writer.
Yeah. He's a
Oh,
co-creator.
okay.
So
I didn't know that.
So Larry David.
I loved his show.
Yes.
I didn't know he wrote.
Yeah.
So Larry David was the co-creator and the head writer for the first 7 seasons. There's 9 seasons of Seinfeld. So he left for the last 2 seasons, but he came back for the
Well, that
finale.
adds up. Oh, he did come back
He
for
came back for the
those.
finale, and he did the voice of George Steinbrenner when George worked for the Yankees. So he's still around in the last 2 seasons, but he didn't have creative input until the finale.
Okay.
Also, George Costanza is kind of based on him.
Yes.
So that whole character is really Larry David.
Oh, I could see that.
Now you
That's
see
interesting.
it. Yeah. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm is kind of more of like an extreme version of Seinfeld to the 10th degree.
So I love Seinfeld. It's a show that I grew up with. My dad loved it. It's a show that my dad and I still, whenever I'm home, we like watching together because our life is just one Seinfeld quote after another. I once told him in a moment of real honesty and rawness that when I watch Seinfeld, George Costanza reminds me too much of myself. And he looked at me in a way that he's never looked at me before, in a loving, parental, protector kind of way. And he goes, "Do not say that about yourself. You are not George Costanza. You are better than that." It was really nice. It really meant a lot to me.
He sensed he needed something
Yeah,
there.
he really did.
Yeah.
Well, they said that. Okay, now I have a question. Because they said, somebody texted in and said George Costanza is based off Larry David's life completely. Did his fiance die? Like when she was licking envelope? Like, did they pull that story? Is that based on a true story?
Well, much like me being confusing in this break, I think 847 saying not completely his life, exactly Larry David's life.
That's a big one.
That's a
I want
big
to
one.
know that. Did that happen?
I don't believe that happened.
No, I don't think so. But the tendencies are the same.
Did
Yes.
Larry David?
And Larry David lived across the hall from a guy named Kramer as well.
Did he?
That's real. Yes.
Yeah.
An eccentric New York personality named Kramer.
Well, that's more like Jerry Seinfeld's life, not George Costanza's life.
Got him.
So
Caught in a lie all of a sudden.
Not exactly.
something's not adding up.
But you know it's not gonna be good, right?
No, I don't like this. The only successful reboot of a television show that I've seen in recent memory, even though everybody wants to come back, nobody wants to have any new ideas, they all just want to reboot things. The only good one that I've seen is iCarly,
Oh my God.
because they approached it in the right way. They're like, we're all older now. The show is going to change, but it's the same characters you love. It wasn't like elbowing your friend tongue-in-cheek like, see, we're back. They were just older characters still in the same universe. I liked it.
How many shows have done that? How many shows have come back from a reboot and worked? I can't even think of.
Well, there's the
Disney kind of has done it best, to be honest, because Raven's show came back and it was just an older version of her as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that came back.
Yeah.
You had iCarly, which I believe it was a Disney or Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, technically.
The kids shows do it best.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They just become parents.
What's the show?
Fuller House.
Thank you. I could not think
yeah.
of the name of that show.
was that. I did not watch that. Was that good?
Kind of the same cast, but Becky's arrested. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't like the original, so I did not watch the reboot.
Wow. I like the original. Was the Fuller House good?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think that it's great for kids. Like, I also wouldn't want to watch Full House at 28, probably. I probably wouldn't find the same enjoyment.
Yeah.
I think I would find a lot of holes in the plot. It's just not adding up.
I wonder if Jerry's smart enough to know it won't work and they're just doing something else. They're going to do some kind of web thing or whatever. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they're going to bring back Seinfeld.
He doesn't need the money.
No.
Seinfeld's kind of won at life.
Yeah, him and Larry David are both billionaires from the Seinfeld syndication.
Or they just pull a Friends and they do like a literal reunion episode where
Maybe
they break
that's what
down
it is.
episodes and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because that did incredibly well for that series. So
Did a little
I
bit.
feel like it's going that way.
And they didn't need the money either, but they just did it because they wanted to do it. And that's what I hope. Probably what he wants to do, because he's probably tired of hearing that. The ending sucked, but the show was great. His whole life. That's what he's going to hear about.
It's like, well, Billy Corgan's talked about that before. He's like, why do you come up to me and say, I love Siamese Dream, but I hate the rest of what you've done? That doesn't make me feel good.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.